Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and I have another example match for Battle Spirit Saga. It's with the other two star decks, the yellow and white one. I'm going to be on the right with the white star deck, and then George is going to be on the left with the yellow one. So both of them are pretty interesting. I won't say like the star decks for this first set or anything super viable. I think there's a lot of stuff from the first set that we're going to get from it, but I did win the dice roll, and I did decide to keep my hand going into this one. And yeah, anyways, like these are just kind of games to show the power of the deck. So I do the Holy Elixir there, and then play the Mecha Wing Duck, and then just kind of have to pass there. I don't have quite enough cores to play anything else, unfortunately, and so pass it back to George there, and just kind of go from there. So he plays his Axe Angel for 2, and then putting a core on top of it. He's got 2 cores left, which means that he should have enough to play another 2-drop, and it's the Sword Angel, which he gets to play for 1 core, and then also just put 1 on top of it, and then just pass it back to me. So I really do like the yellow, and just kind of the it has a couple identities, but just like the 2-drop army kind of stuff I think is really interesting, and it gets like a lot of recursion. It's something that can loop very, very well. So, but I get my Mechatriche here, and I'm only going to be able to make it a level 1 and 1 away from level 2, but the when summon effect is pretty good. I get to look at the top 2 cards in my deck and then put them on top or bottom in any order, so I can split it up too, which is different than most Bandai card games. So put 1 card on the bottom, 1 card on top, and I just have that there. So obviously the Mechatriche with the Duck is a really good combo there, being able to get a core onto the Duck when something bounces back to hand or deck, which the Mechatriche does on block. So if I am able to get this to keep going and go from there, I get some value. But they play the Rapier Knight Kate Sith, which then looks at the top 2, gets the Sword Angel there, and then plays the Sword Angel for just 1 because it has the free cost reduction, which is quite nice. And I was a little slow, but I played the Holy Elixir on the Wind Summon. He was nice enough to let me proc this, so it just lets me ramp 2 by putting 2 cores into the trash from the Void, which is nice for me. And it looks like they're just going to pass it back to me. So I've got a good amount of cores there. I'm going to play the Spearing of Norn to help me with some vanillas restanding, which coincidentally my hand is entirely full of cards with no effects. So that's kind of why I put that one on top and put the other card on the bottom. So we play the Mech Golem. We put another one on the Mechatriche, which will mean that the level 2 when the Spirit blocks is online, which is great. It just means that they're probably not going to attack. And then I have enough to play another mobile Golem as well. So I'm going to actually probably swing with one of these vanillas just because they will restand at the start of my opponent's battle step, which is great. So we attack there. It's a 4K with it's a level 1, and so it looks like they are just going to take the life and go down to 4 there. So passing the turn back, we do have one of the best nexuses for yellow that I've seen. Soap Bubble, Lakeside. The first effect lets you recur costs, and the second one turns off anything with when the Spirit blocks, which is pretty much like half my deck. So I have to be really, really careful. Fortunately for me, I drew into more of the vanillas for this game, so it doesn't affect more of it. But and then they also play the Arcana Prince Obero as well for the additional 1 there. So, but not being online just means I get to do some good things. So we play the CB's Dugon, which is another vanilla skillless card. So just, again, we got pretty lucky with how it stacked up. So I'm going to put 2 on the Spring of Norn, which just means that all of these guys get to restand during my opponent's attack phase. And yeah, so I'm just going to attack with all of them. They're 3K, 4K, and 4K respectively, and they're just going to go down to 1 life there. So lastly, I did have the Mechatriche Ace, which does have a good 1 blocking effect, but my kind of idea with that is, you know what, they probably can put 2 on their Soap Bubble next turn, so I'm just going to attack with it, get it out of the way, make them kind of forced to block something to be able to live. So they use the Kate Sith, and then from there they use one of their spells, which is the Drowsy Fumes. It gives something minus 2k BP, which means that it gets rid of my Duck, which is a blocker for me. And then the Cat Sith does die, so it does look at the top card for a level or a 3 cost, which was a 2 cost, so it does not get the draw. And then passes back to George. So 1 life remaining there. I have my full 5, but you can get really blown out in this game, especially like in the Star Deck games, you do get a lot of chances to just play a bunch of guys on board and just have them all attack in. There's not as much kind of defensive or like capabilities in these Star Decks, so it's kind of just a different meta. But playing the Aandroidd, which has a really good one, Destroy, to play a 2-cost, especially in a game where cards can attack the turn they're played. And then there's a Calamity Beast Pegasaur. So this gives plus 2k. So one thing too, this is kind of like a scuffed ending for this match, spoilers, but there is a bit of incorrect math that George and I both did at the same time. So not 100% on George, but one, he's only a level 2, so he doesn't get the restand effect. He does have 6 guys attacking, and we did some math like, oh, if you could restand and if you could have the 2 restand live, but that's kind of where the math went. So the level 2 had to, the 2-cost spirit would have to live, which it went with all the blocks that I had there. And also with my Nexus, I was able to, again, restand all of my skillless cards there. So they ended up swinging with the Axe Angel, which I just let through here. And again, if they were able to attack with everything and get the 2 restands with the Pegasus, they would be able to win the game, but that is just something that can't happen on this board state, and didn't really notice it until he went a little bit too deep for there. So 2 swings, and then this is also a mistake that I made. So this is a 3k just because of the Pegasaur. I decided to block with the Dugong. I used the Soap Bubble Lake side to look top deck, which didn't add anything. I will get rid of the Dugong in a minute there when we notice the difference there. But yeah, looking like realizing that, you know what, I can't get the restand anymore, and I don't have enough cards to attack. The Avashar is just a level 3, or sorry, a 3-cost card, so you can't get it restood even if you were a level 3 Pegasaur. So in there I get the fix on the Dugong, but yeah, it looks like he has to pretty much hope that I don't have another Spirit in hand, which isn't too crazy of an ask for a game like this, especially with the Star Decks. But looking like they're just going to kind of pass the turn there. And fortunately for me, as we will see, that I do have a Spirit in hand, so this game is pretty much over. So again, sorry for a bit of the scuffness. I will blame George for myself. I will blame myself for George, rather. It was just a case where I'm like, oh, you win on the game, just swing out. And then I realized that that was not the case, and it's kind of how this game is. There's a lot of like, just the fact that you have to keep track of levels in this game and just the cores and everything. It's been very tricky to kind of get a solid grasp on some of the cards for this one. So but I do appreciate George for hanging out and playing with me. Make sure to check out their content as well. They're making a lot of Battle Spirits content and just general card game stuff too, and definitely will be on doing a lot of Battle Spirit stuff too. So if you haven't checked out their content, I highly recommend it. So anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. I'm able to attack out, and again, thank you to George for playing, even with the scuffed ending. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you guys want to see for our next match. We'll probably be doing some set 1 decks, and that will be it for me. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you all next time.